year did you move up here into this house, Mom? And what was it like?
1927.
Was it fixed up very nice, or was it just a...
It wasn't. Nicely done all over. It was stunk.
What was it, just a kind of a square or a rectangle house?
It was just a plain house, and we had a stove and the bedroom set. I told David that or Stephen that Jay Burton, that I wanted a bedroom set, and because my mother never did have one.
She didn't?
That was a bedroom set. And
So how did you get it? I mean, what did you do? Did you get that right away?
we
Or?
got that before I was married.
You and Dad bought it, did you? Where did you buy it?
Union Furniture in Leyden.
Is that the same set that you still have in there right now? Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's been refinished one. Here, do you want more?
I'm just gonna get us.
The bacon?
Do you want some bacon and
I'll have some of the later. What did your mother think when she came up and saw the place we were living?
She didn't think much of it.
Huh?
Her work didn't much of it. I was embarrassed having my friends.
Now, the house was constructed by Albert Douglas Dickson, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in 1860 sometime, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it set south and north, and they took it to pieces and set it over, set it west and west.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Who did?
They did. Albert.
Oh,
Albert.
Well, why did they change it around? Because it fit better on the premises, or?
I don't know why they changed it around.
I didn't know that. Is it on a foundation or was it just on dirt?
On rocks.
So they would have had to move the rocks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Are these apples from your apple tree? Out here, do you still have that?
I don't know whether they are or not.
They're good.
Or it could be from Lois's.
Her Paul and Ramona's son, they have apples.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who's saying.
Now, was there an old barn out here when you moved your mother? Or?
No, there wasn't a barn. There was a shed.
Mm-hmm.
A small shed. And Ford built barn, the milk house, and the cow stable.
Mm-hmm.
They just milked cows, I guess. They just milked cows out in the pasture. I don't know.
You mean before, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a well here when you moved here? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was There was a well, but they had the cold water in the house over there in the corner.
Hmm.
You know.
Coming through a tap or a pipe?
Yeah. The tap. And they had to heat all the water that they used.
On the stove.
Now, did your folks down in Layton have water in their house, hot water and cold water?
I had it too when I moved up here. I told Ford I would move here till he fixed hot water and stuff.
But your hot water was made by coming through a stove, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wood and coal burning stove. How was Alma doing these days?
She's done very
Didn't she? And what about B?
good. Neither she.
When was the last time you saw them?
Saw who?
Well,
Solid.
Ima came up here on the 4th of July. And that's the last time I've seen her. She can't comb her hair, and she can't go to the toilet alone, and she can't do anything alone without nothing.
Without Ray helping her?
She can't do anything.
And it must be pretty hard for you to travel.
Well, I don't know, I think she enjoys it. I know when we go down there, we want to take her places, and she thinks dance. She loves to go places.
Can I ask you some questions about, when did you
Yeah.
add this part onto that house? Was this 19, just after I got back from my mission?
Well, it was, I don't know when it was. It was,
1958 or 59, wasn't it?
yeah, well, we added it, when you was all to school
Yeah.
and Ford was to work.
Mhm.
Cause I managed them to take care of my bowels and that, and I knew you kids could, you know, school.
Now, when they had the logs, put up here for the house, did they use some kind of plaster on the inside? Did they have everything plastered when you moved up
They
here?
had it on the outside.
With Mother? When you moved up here with Dad?
They
did
had it on the outside.
They had the plastering on the outside. What did it look like on the inside?
Well, it was smooth. It was
Okay.
fairly smooth.
It had been plastered then, hadn't it?
It had been,
Okay.
but the plaster was that old kind that just crumbles and falls off. Mhm.
So what did you have to do, redo it?
Yeah. No, we did that in there when the guys furnished
So you couldn't really put any kind of, you really couldn't put any kind of wallpaper on it then, or anything like that?
well, I did put some wallpaper on it. And thought that I could hold it in
That
that
way.
way.
But it just fell.
But it just, the kids picked at it and
Mhm.
it fell off.
Mhm.
I worked and worked to save this house, but
Yeah.
I got disgusted in the last little while and wouldn't do anything for the kitchen at all. the rug was wore out, and the ceiling, the paper was wore out, and the ceiling was a mess.
What was it that made you finally decide to just rip off the old kitchen and just go ahead and put on the new one?
It was this. Ford went deer hunting, and I asked him if it was all right with him to make
Fix
the
it up,
house
yes.
over. Make the house over. And he said, yes, it was all right. He said, good hell, go ahead if you want to. Good hell, go ahead if you want to. And so I said to Frank and Lois, I said, we can tear off the back part. So we tore it off, and when he came home, he wouldn't even have anything to eat. He went right to bed. And he felt bad. He felt bad, and he wouldn't help me. He helped me go down to get a loan or anything. And, he wouldn't help me anyway. Anyway, shape or form. And so after it was all done, I brought John Henry in to see how the windows worked and everything. And he said to me when they was fixing that 10-foot on the front room, he says, Elma, they're gonna knock this house down. And I says, I don't give a damn if they do. But
What did he say to that?
well, he didn't. What could he say? They saddled the logs up there some way.
Mhm.
They saddled all the logs up there somewhere.
To hold them in place
Yeah, to hold them in place.
while they did the cutting. Now
And
this happened while I was on my mission, that part, didn't it?
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I've had a hell of a time trying to fix this up, but I got it finally fixed.
Well, now, it seemed like to me that he was always telling people that he was kind of the one that was pretty much responsible
No,
for it.
he said that he'd like all of his brothers and sisters to come up and see what Elma has done with the house.
Well, now, at the time you tore that off,
Yeah.
Frank and Lois, or whoever helped you tear it off,
Mhm.
did you have, like, who did you get to rebuild all this? Did Frank and Lois do it? Or
No,
No, you got
no.
somebody, did you know at the
No.
time who you were gonna get to
Yeah.
do it and everything?
Yeah, I had
You kind of had a plan
I
in your
had the
mind.
carpenters that built Lois's house, and they come up here.
Did you kind of
And
already
then-
ask them about it if
And
they?
then that part in there, I had the carpenters that Paul had. They had it at the time too.
Did they?
And they just pounded those old logs out. Oh,
They
Lordy.
pounded them out?
Yeah, they pounded them out.
So you don't have any logs there anymore?
No, they pounded out front ones, you know, the front logs, and I have those on the side. And that's a, on that west, it's a double, it's got an airspace between it, in other words. Got a double,
So there are still logs over here,
yeah.
and logs over here, but there's no logs, and up here, no
Yeah.
logs.
Mhm.
Well, at the time when you knocked it off and that, had you already talked to the carpenters about coming to do it?
Yeah.
So they kind of had some idea.
Mhm.
Did it take them very long to
No,
get this stuff
not very long.
together? And
No.
get it
Well,
all done?
What was the man's name who did that?
I don't know.
Can't
I
remember.
don't know who he is. He's the same man that Paul had to
No, that
build
Wallace
his
had.
cupboards.
Oh.
Cupboards.
Oh, I see, he built Paul's cupboards too.
He was the same man and I don't know who he was, but
Mhm.
he was from the east, and I know that he put some plastic down in the rocks, in the floor,
Mhm.
you know. And I thought then, well, that doesn't need to be there,
But,
you know.
of course, the house was not really in plumb very well, was it?
No, it wasn't
So-
in plumb at all.
Did he straighten that up a little
Yeah.
bit?
He straightened it up.
No.
Well, they straightened it up from the inside.
Mother, what were the circumstances surrounding your getting the property, you and Dad getting the property here?
Well,
I mean,
a roof borrowed the money. And he went up into Idaho. He went into business with his friend, the Lee, and Kate's brother. And so he went broke. And so
so did
then,
he use the farm here for
and then he
collateral
borrowed money.
against the farm?
He borrowed money against the farm. And then we had to pay the farm loan off. We had to pay it off to have the house.
Well, now, what about all the other brothers and sisters' shares?
I don't know.
What did they decide to do?
They decided that they didn't want anything, I guess.
That they would just go ahead and let it all
Yeah.
pay for
Yeah.
Ruth's mistake, huh?
Well, and did they decide that since you guys were paying it off, that you would just have it? If they weren't paying it off, nobody else was
So
paying it.
essentially what you did is you paid off Ruth's loan
Yeah, we did.
against the property.
Yeah, we did.
And how many years was that before you finally
It was
paid it off?
1940.
When you finally paid it off?
We paid it off with lambs.
I know, but it seemed like to me you were still making payments.
Well,
Even
maybe
later.
we were, I don't know when it was.
Mhm.
I don't know for sure when it was. But it was in 49 or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I ought to keep track of that. I don't know when it was.
Now, you've been keeping a journal since how old? Since you were how old? Since you were a little girl?
No, I haven't. Since 2 or 3 years ago. Since 81, I think.
Mhm.
80,
Mhm.
80 or 81.
Very good, very good.
I don't think it's real.
Have you been reminiscing a little bit about your earlier life or anything like that? Or- What would you say would be the finest quality that your dad had as a
That he was
human
honest.
being? What about your mother?
She was kind and unassuming, and she was honest too.
She worked, they really worked hard, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Hmm.
They worked hard, and Dad could have had all the Clearfield, all that Sand Ridge, and all that, if he'd paid for the water taxes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They really got to that point, huh?
Yeah,
Was that during the?
that was during the Depression.
Mhm.
When he was offered that amount for that place, he felt like that was really good. It wasn't very much.
You mean when they constructed that low-cost governmentally funded
No,
housing?
no. It wasn't low cost. And it was, I guess he was the second one to have that, those buildings built on that property. And I don't know, he didn't get very much money. And the front of it isn't done yet. But the people who bought it, they had difficulty in deciding who was what, because they got divorced, the man and the wife. And she took all the front property and is not developed.
That's too bad.
Unless it is now. I don't know how it is now. I know that the house that we lived in has been raised, and there's been a new basement put in it. And oh, it's raised up, it's raised quite high. And there's been a new basement put in it, but I don't know anything else about it. Mother's rock garden's still there.
Did you ever, do you remember very much about when your folks lived up in Idaho? Anything at all?
No.
You were too little a girl then?
I was too little. I was only, I just started to walk.
When you moved up there?
No, we moved up there before.
You were born even, didn't you?
Before I was born, and then Mother came back to Kaysville, and I was born in the old Jim Stewart house. And then she walked me up to her, and then the Zion walked me up, went up to the graveyard for the program. See, they always had a program. And
Was this for Decoration Day or?
on Decoration Day.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't. I was only just a few days old.
Oh, I see.
A few months old. I was just a month old. Well, I was born the 6th of May, and that was on the 30th
Of
of May.
So just.
And everyone thought that she was gonna die, you know, all the old women said.
Taking you out that
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
Your mother was a pretty brave gal, huh?
Yeah.
Was she afraid of what other people would say by
I
taking
don't
you like
think
that?
so. I don't think
Nowadays, they
Nowadays, they
take them
get
out
right up and.
out the second day.
Go back
Yeah.
home 3 days, don't
Yeah.
they?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, now, Mother, what's the first thing you can remember as a little girl? I mean,
I can't remember anything.
when you were little.
I can't remember anything, David, and that's too bad. I can't remember anything. that
You mean
happened.
even when you were a little girl living in the old house where you lived in Layton?
Yeah, I can remember some of the things.
Like, what's the first thing you can remember?
Well, let's see.
Do you remember
I can remember stomping on the porch and wanting to ride the horse down to Layton with Dad.
Yeah.
And
You mean a temper
bawling.
tantrum?
Yeah, I was bawling and stomping on the porch and everything, trying to get him to stop and let me ride the horse down with him to Layton City.
But he wouldn't let you, huh?
No, he wouldn't let me. And then I can remember too when I had a mastoid abscess in this ear. And I thought in my mind that the eaves were dropping, and every drop was like, oh, I don't know what.
Hammer.
But every drop, I could hear the drops go by, and I was just in so much pain. I was delirious. That was it.
Sure.
Yeah, I was delirious,
Sure.
and I didn't sleep at all. But I remember that it was like the rain and the drops, you know, it come back and forth like this. I can remember that really well.
How was the infection in your ear?
Yeah, well, in the mastoid bone, and I had to be operated when I was in 5th grade. And after I was operated on, I remember going down to Dr. Tanner, and he had an office over the barber shop. Over the barber shop, if you can imagine. And we had to go up to his office through the stairs. And I just bawled and bawled and bawled every time we'd go up there, because they'd fill this hole with dressing, and then they'd take it out. And it hurt like
Hold on.
They put gauze and everything like that in there, I guess, didn't they? Help it drain out, huh?
I thought I'd die.
How long did you have to go back?
I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like it was a long time. It seemed like it was a long time, but I don't know how long it was.
Did you take very many trips with your mom and dad anywhere?
No, they didn't go anywhere.
Just worked and worked, and that was their time.
Worked. Then I'm 17, quite a bit. We went out there and planted tomatoes and stuff.
Did you ever go overnight camping anywhere with your folks?
I can't remember of ever going to camping.
Did they ever travel to Idaho or anything like that with you?
No. No. They never went
What were
anywhere.
some of the fun games and things you used to play as a kid?
We played tippy.
Tippy?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's you take a thing that's sharpened on both ends. It's about that long. They sharpen on both ends.
A
And then you-
piece of metal or a stick?
No, it's a
Wood?
stick,
Okay.
wood. And then you hit it like this and knocked it. I don't know anything else about it. And then we played Run Sheep Run, you know, like all
That game, what was that game?
odd or even, you know, you
Oh,
play
okay.
that.
Uh,
Well,
I
with
never-
marbles, don't you?
I've never played that ever.
Oh, don't you?
Well, how did you play it?
Well, you say odd or even to person, and if they guess right, why then they give you a marble. And then-
Or you give them a marble or whatever.
Well, if they guess right, then I give them a marble.
Sure.
But if they don't guess right, why they give me a marble.
Okay.
See?
And then you see who gets the most marbles.
Yeah.
Did you get to keep the marbles too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a game of chance, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Did you know how many marbles you had in your hands so that
Yeah.
you knew?
Mhm. Well, you just have one, usually, one marble,
One or two?
one or two marbles. Say odd or even. Odd or even.
That's interesting.
But like if you give them a marble because they guessed right,
Yeah.
then the next time you ask odd or even, they know how it was since
Well, they might not. They might not.
Why, could you
You
change
could
the,
fool it. You could fool them.
you could change the amount of
Yeah, you
marbles
could
that
move
you have
them.
in your
You could
pocket?
fool them, you know.
Mhm.
And so they guessed wrong a lot of times. A lot of times. So I got quite a few marbles.
Okay, so you could have marbles in each hand, you
Mhm.
know, and then whichever one you ask them, and then you could change.
No, I had them in the right hand always.
So she either had one marble there or two
I
marbles,
had
to either be odd or even.
So
odd or
what,
even.
so what would you do with the other marbles if you got,
Held them in her pocket or?
put them in your pocket or
Well,
something like that?
I told them in the hand or something.
The other
I
hand?
don't know. I don't know what I did.
Mhm.
That was kind of fun. And I held all the boys. You know, I went up to all the boys and said, odd or even.
Okay, now, so if they all kept guessing right, and you ran
Yeah.
out of marbles, were you
Yeah.
the loser?
Yeah.
And then it was
so
somebody
it.
else's
Mhm.
turn.
When we were in the 7th grade, we had 14 teachers.
You had
And
14
they-
teachers?
Yeah, and they bawled. And they bawled all the time. That's when the war was on. First World War.
What do you remember about World War I, Mom?
I remember that we were rationed.
Sugar?
Yeah, sugar and shoes, both were
Something
rationed.
on your glasses right there. Piece of
Let
it.
me have your glasses and let me wash it first.
But you can remember being rationed sugar, what else, gas and.
Gas and sugar and shoes. And shoes. And we grew sugar beets, so we had more sugar than anyone else. And so we could have more sugar than anyone else. Yes, I don't know.
Did you have to go out and cut the sugar beets and that? Did you help do that?
Yeah, I did. I got everything.
How did Grandpa feel about having all girls except for
He
Jane?
didn't feel good about it. I know that I was supposed to be a boy. Because I've got big bones, and my physical makeup is a boy. I don't know, I wasn't.
Well, you were held strong to help him, weren't you? Did Lois learn to do all those things too?
Yeah.
Guess all of you had to work, didn't you?
Mhm. I think I did more than any one of them, but I even plowed. I cultivated the corn that he raised on 7th when it was really tall. Cultivated it. And it was kind of fun. I remember it was kind of fun. Because the horses would rock right up the lane, you know, and the cultivator to take them up and everything. It was kind of fun. Thank you very much.
I think the story you told me about Puss, you know, that old
Yeah,
horse that your
Grandma ran it.
What did you do to get her upset about the road?
I fooled in the drinking water, you know. I probably splashed water on her. I don't know what I did, but something that aggravated Grandma Bennett. licked me with the big whip.
Did she lick you hard or just
No, I don't think so. I
just
don't
kind of soft touches?
I don't know. I don't know.
Kids will be kids, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I was the only one or not. The Waynard and Lee and Lois were there too. I don't know whether I was the only one. Maybe she thought that I was the oldest and she'd give me a licking. I don't know.
You don't even know if you did it, huh?
Well, I did it. I did it. I did it. Yeah. I was showing the other kids how to tease her, I guess.
Of all the babies you had, which one seemed to be the one that you was easiest to take care of?
Well, I don't know. I thought that I was supposed to tend Jay Burton, and that I got my work done quick, and then I just tended him. Every time he'd fall or anything, I'd tend him. And Paul was, he came and he was just square, you know. He was fat and he was square, but I had eaten oats, rolled oats, and I loved them. I'd eaten them raw. And I guess he'd come by them, I don't know, but he was just square, and he was easy baby to take care of because he just slept all the time. And,
But Jay Burton didn't sleep all the
he'd
time.
fart. when Suzanne or when Mary Lee Briggs and I would come up, why they'd talk to the boyfriends for fear David or Jones.
Paul.
When he'd wake up, he'd stretch, you know, and he'd make a noise.
That
They
kind
were
of embarrassed
worried
the
about
girls.
it. Yeah, they were worried about it. And they'd talk as loud as they could.
Well, no, you were the first of all of the grandma's children.
Yeah, I was the
babies.
first one. Well, Howard was older than me.
Mhm.
Howard David
Mhm.
was older than me. He's been there a long time. But I was the first girl in both Grandma and Grandpa's family.
Mhm.
I was the first child in Grandpa's family.
How did you get along with Lois when she was a little girl?
Well, she was the easiest birth I had.
Was she?
She kept spitting up. I hated that. She'd nurse really good, and then she'd spit up. And then, I don't know. She had big eyes.
What about Stephen? What was he like as a baby?
He was pretty good. Yeah. I don't know what he was like. He was just, he just fit into the family and
What do you remember about David?
David. I remember you're the ugliest kid I ever saw. You were ugly as ugly when you were born. I thought, my Gadford, what am I gonna do with that boy? And then I loved you and everything. But I thought you were the ugliest kid I've ever seen. 'Cause you had a big nose and there wasn't much face to you. And, as you grew up, I remember that you were trained really easy. You were trained at 9 months. Yeah. You'd grunt, if you had to go, you know. And then,
What's that water?
yeah, their animals are drinking out there. And they are pushing down when that automatic water comes on. I remember that. And I wondered what it was for a long time. And then I went out to see.
How old was I when I started to walk?
Well, you were walking early too. You got 9 months. And you could go when you need to go to the toilet. And I remember taking you down to the neighbors down there.
In Layton, you mean?
No, I remember taking you down to, the neighbors. I don't know who it was. And you grunted. So I took you out in the bushes and you grunted. And then I just watched you when you pee-peed. But you're the easiest kid I had to train. And Jay Byrne was the hardest. I finally rubbed his nose in his pants.
What about Suzanne? What do you remember about her?
She was, she was born when you kids had whooping cough. I don't know. We just showed her through the window for 6 months, 6 weeks. She was a good baby. Well, all of them were good, except, Jane, she didn't take a full bottle of milk anytime. No, she didn't take a full bottle. And I tried to get her to take a full bottle of milk, and she wouldn't. And I tried to get all of you to eat an egg and, the necessary things, but you wouldn't. So those are some of the things I remember about the kids.
Do you remember when we went on that trip up with the Northwest?
Yeah.
Stephen blew through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
I remember Ford laughing his head off.
Were you driving at the time?
No, he was driving. I remember him laughing his head off because they blew at me, And then when they blew at him, why, he was really mad. I tell you that. He stopped the car and everything.
But I remember you were laughing.
Yeah.
Didn't you get out of the car and start to run through the bushes?
I don't think
because
so.
Dad was so upset.
I didn't.
No, you didn't. He stopped. He was going to put all you kids out. And then he didn't. He didn't, but it tickled me because he was
Laughing so much.
yeah, he was laughing so much about me. And then,
What was he?
have you got that on me?
What was he upset about?
Has he got that on me?
I don't know.
What was he upset about? I mean, just the fact that Stephen blew through that hole?
Yeah, he was upset about that. And he was upset that your kid's laughing. You know?
That was so funny.
Yeah, he says, quit laughing. Oh, he wanted everything really quiet. And he was upset at the kids laughing. And he was upset at the hose.
You remember the time we played that rook game?
Yeah.
Did he ever play rook anymore after that?
I don't know. He said that I cheated all the time.
I know, but that time, he just kept bidding and bidding and bidding, and you just bid more and more, and pretty soon he took it. He like bid as high as you could practically go, and he didn't get one thing out of that whole deal. At the end of it, we were laughing so hard, and he just stomped out of here and went to the bedroom.
Yeah.
I've always felt kind of sorry about that.
Except that it was so funny.
It's too bad he didn't just laugh about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is too bad.
He should have just laughed.
But he was something else.
He couldn't laugh.
He didn't have a very easy
That's
life.
something.
Well, when you think about his childhood, I don't blame him much, because he didn't have any childhood at all.
By the time he came along, why?
His father was old, and his mother was sick.
What did she have wrong with her mother, do you know?
Well, she had bilious attack, so that's what Ford called him. And she vomited quite a bit.
She what?
She vomited quite a bit. I don't know what was the matter. I think that she must have a headache with it.
Had what?
A headache with it. I don't know.
It's too bad.
She could have lived till I got married. Because she died at 65, I think. 65 years old. So she
She died before Grandpa died, didn't she?
yeah. And then he said that he wasn't happy living alone. So then he died. He got the hiccups for it too. But he peed his pants all the time.
Grandpa did.
Yeah. And I think it was poison he died. Because Ford had to take care of him all the time.
Change him and everything.
He must have been kidney.
He must have.
Well, he didn't have an operation.
Well, he wet his pants before, for years and years. I guess. I don't know how long. And he didn't care. He didn't care. It seemed like he didn't care.
Is that what Dad said?
I don't know, but he didn't seem to care.
How have you enjoyed living up here in Richville?
I've enjoyed it. I didn't like it right at first. I haven't liked it for a long time because my friends were all down in Whiting. And I've learned that everybody's relation up here, and not to talk about them. Yeah. They're not, they're all relation, one way or the other. And I'm kind of an outcast, and
Outsider, you mean?
I'm outsider. I don't know. I like it now. I like it. I like this. I like it, especially since I'm alone.
You like it now?
Yeah.
The people have been nice to you up here, haven't they?
No, not very.
I mean,
Not very.
since you've been alone, huh?
Not very.
Is Dee your home teacher still?
Yeah. He hasn't moved 2 months.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's awful busy with the farm,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's really busy. Gary, well, when they come, they don't give me the subject. They just talk about the weather and how hot it's been, and how cold it's been, and all about it.
Of course, you read the ensign all the time, so you know what's coming up. Do you still get those tapes from
Yeah.
the
That's
the ensign in there?
Mhm.
Do they ask you to send them back, or?
No, they don't. No. I don't know. I get so many that I don't know what to do with them. Well, they send me 2, and 1 is enough.
They send
You
you
know.
2,
Yeah, they send me 2 tapes,
but
and-
1 is enough to cover the whole
and 1 is
book?
enough to cover the whole book.
Now, you have to have a special tape player for that, don't you?
8-track.
Oh, I see.
Anybody that's got an 8-track, I would use it. Would use it.
That's wonderful.
So they're sending you 2 of everything. You
Yeah.
only need 1.
Well, sometimes I need 2, but usually only 1. They said right at the beginning that this tape is contains all of the ensign, you know. And so they send me 2. I don't know what it's for.
When do you listen to them? Do you listen to them just at night, during the day?
Well, I listen to them in the daytime and night too, and anytime.
Sure.
Anytime.
What's kind of your routine now? What do you do when you, in the morning? You just get up and have breakfast? And you still quilting and all that kind of stuff?
No, I'm not.
What do you do with your day?
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to
Do you write in your journal, or?
Yeah, I write in it occasionally. I write what's going on, but I don't make a big to-do of it. Nobody can read my writing
I can read it when you write letters to us. Eleanor was asking me the other day, why don't we subscribe to the Morgan County News? And I said, well, some of those people that used to write for it no longer write.
anymore.
They used to make it fun, like the lady that wrote that since Dutch Porter had started to breed his own horses, why he had the best stock he'd ever had.
Yeah.
Who was that wrote that? Was that Ray
Was it,
Kilburn?
Martha Mikes?
Mark,
I guess.
all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
All those things were so funny in that newspaper.
Well, they used to have a correspondent in every town, but they don't anymore. And Lou Bell kept up the Richville news, but that is Morgan and Richville.
What about Dora? Doesn't she do that anymore?
And she quit.
Sure.
I don't know who there is left. I don't.
Would you be willing to let me, maybe, we could go outside on the lawn or somewhere and let me ask you some questions, like put on some videotape?
Yeah,
Would you be willing
Yeah.
to?
yeah,
Okay.
mhm,
Why don't we do that?
okay,
That'd be okay.
okay.
I also wanted to ask you if you could maybe just walk around the house with me while I do some videotaping inside, you know, about the kitchen and the living room and things like that.
Yeah,
Would you be willing to
yeah,
just tell us a little bit about it and that?
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Thank you for breakfast.
Well, when do you want to go? Right now?
Well, doesn't matter. Do you want to get on some other clothes or?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. Very good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
You remember the experience we had over on John Henry's property when we were over there raking when I was just a little boy, and Jay Burton or Paul climbed up on one of those dump rakes. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
When the horse took off running through the field, and Jay Burton or Paul was sitting on the dump rake. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And we nearly got killed, or do you remember that?
That was over on John Henry's place, way over there.
What happened exactly? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, I remember. They, Ford said in bed that morning that he felt like 2 rakes had raked that hay instead of 1, and they could have it done twice as quick. And see, they always went over it the second time,
Yeah.
and so we got the boys up, and they took the colt over there, and they got along fine and everything until I took breakfast over to them, and then first Suzanne climbed up on the wheel, and then Ford's heart just came to him all at once about the dream that he had, or that
The premonition he had.
the premonition that he had, and he quietly lifted her off and got all the kids off of the implements, and then the horse started to go, and the white horse started to go, and so the colt followed her, you know, and then they got the rakes twisted up, and so they went all over the field, and when Ford came up out of the ditch, why, I came up too, and Jay Burton did too, and he looked around to see if all the kids were there, and they were all there, and then he went over to see what had happened to the rakes and the horse, and the horse was over there tied up with the rake, and he came home, and he would have had it all raked time and again if he did done it with the one rake, because he had to put shafts in the one rake, and the other rake is all to pieces.
Oh, that's
So
well, we were all lucky that nobody got
yeah,
killed, I guess.
that was right. He said he went to his knees and prayed right then that he was glad that none of us was hurt, because we all could have been hurt.
How
Well,
old were
could have
you
been.
when that happened? Were you still in your 30s when that happened?
I don't know. I had all my kids. I think I was in the
So Jane.
I think I was in the 40s.
Okay. Very
Mhm.
good. I can remember that. I could, somehow I can remember your
Yeah.
taking us and hiding behind a ditch.
Yeah.
You know, I can,
We all fell down the ditch.
yeah, that's
And,
I can remember that. Hiding behind the ditch, wondering what was going on. I knew.
and I didn't realize that it was happening to the kids then. They were all up there. And, oh dear. Makes me sick to think about it.
How do you, how do you feel about your mission that you and Dad went on? As you look back on that, what kind of?
Well, mostly I was the driver. I was the driver everywhere, and he had to fill in and go to meetings and that, and I drove, and while he was to the meetings and that, I memorized all the discussions, and I finally passed them off. I passed them off.
That's great.
And the rest of the people said they're too old to learn the lessons, and so that made me mad, and I decided that I'd try to learn them, and so I did.
You memorized every one of them. Huh?
Yeah, and I passed them off, and I passed them off.
That's great. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh.
But most of it was going in was driving. Most of it was. Then he'd always tell me that I was doing wrong. But,
I mean, Dad did?
yeah, that I was doing wrong.
Along your mission, what was the thing that you remember the very most, besides memorizing the discussions?
Well, we had a good time. All the people met on Monday, and we had a good time. We visited all the
Branches and that?
No, we visited all the things that pertain to that land. You know.
Maryland and.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, is President Drury still alive? Or
No, he's dead.
Passed away.
He's dead.
What about the other missionary companions with whom you
Well,
spent time? Tell me about them.
Well, brother and sister, Sister Anderson, he's dead, but she's filled a mission on her own since he died, and she filled two missions with him, and then Sister Bennett's husband died of a heart attack, and she's been a widow for quite a while, and oh, let's see who else. And,
now, do some of the people from the mission field still come to visit you?
Yes,
Do they?
yes. They do. Brother and sister.
Williams?
No, brother and sister. Up in
Shreveport?
No, up in oh heck.
Smithfield or?
No, up in Wyoming. No, well they come too, brother and sister Merritt.
But Goff's come.
And Goff's come, and they live in St. George now. They sold their home in
Sheridan.
In Sheridan.
Very good. So they live in St. George now, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Wonderful. That's good. Well, now, Mother, what are your feelings about the Book of Mormon? You've had a chance to read it many times.
Oh, I think it's true. I think that it's as true as true, and I don't know what else to say, because it is true, and I think that it's a great book, and I've enjoyed it every every minute of it.
What's some advice that you would give to young people having families these days, given the fact that there are so many things going on in the world that seem to be threatening family life and also seem to be against the teachings of the Lord? What is the advice that you would give to a couple that just is starting out with married life now?
Well, I'd say just teach them the right things, and they'll go right. Like Joseph Smith said, teach them the right things and they'll go right. And that's all. That's what I'd do, I'd say.
Do you think that parents should try to limit the size of their families?
No, but I think that the economics of family living now is much greater than it's ever been, and I think that the people will maybe have to limit their children.
Sad.
I don't know.
Kind of sad, isn't it?
In my family, they haven't paid any attention to that. I think Lois's kids have had about all they're going to have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But their Doug has got 6 children, and he's having his 7th. And I think that's great. I think that's just great.
You bet.
And Irene's got 6, and I think that's great too.
I guess I told you that we saw Aunt Lois and Uncle Cornell 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you did.
Went over to Don's to their daughter's marriage and wedding reception. And they look still really good.
Well, I saw them too this summer,
Yeah.
and they look good. And they look good to me too. And
That's good. Did they come up here to see you, or?
yeah, they came up here, and I think Cornell looked a lot better than he did last year.
Yes. Yeah, he does look really good.
He worried me last year, kinda.
Yes. Well,
I thought they looked a lot better than they.
now tell me, Mother, when you moved up to this place to live here with Dad, who were the best friends that you had up here to start out with?
There wasn't any best friends.
Yeah. But everybody treated you friendly in that, I mean.
Yeah,
in the church.
they treated me nice,
You bet.
but they didn't. There wasn't any best friends because everyone was related.
Yeah.
And, everyone was related, and they had already friends. I don't know. Lily Clark and Dora came to see me every year for a long time, and that made me feel good.
They were wonderful people.
Yeah, they came every time to see me.
Now, isn't Dora still alive? And
Yeah, she's 85.
Good heavens.
And Reed's 86, and Nona's 85, and I'm 83. And Floyd is the same birthday as I have, and he's 80. He's a year younger than me.
I see.
He's 82.
I see. And Sarah, is she still alive?
Yeah.
How are they doing? Is their health?
Well, they're doing okay, but they haven't been right well. Neither one of them.
What-
Floyd's got a hernia,
Yeah.
and he says that he's too old to have it taken care of, and so he's suffering it out. And Sarah's got a heart problem, and she worries about it quite a bit.
What about Reed and Nona? Are they
They're good. They're,
doing all right, huh?
yeah. Nona can't see.
And she can't get around very well, can she?
She can't see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so sad. Your eyes have been doing a lot better, haven't they? Since
Yeah.
you started taking.
I went down to the doctor, and he said that one was 14 and the other was 18.
That's excellent.
He said it was.
That's wonderful.
That was. I can see distance well, but
Close up, you have.
like you, far away, I wouldn't know you if I didn't know who it was.
Whose voice was speaking, huh?
I don't. I have trouble with the people who come to church, knowing them.
Recognizing.
Yeah, recognizing them.
That's too bad. I guess there's nothing that can be done for that.
I
is there?
don't think there is.
Uh-huh.
Don't think there is.
But you can look out here in the mountains and see
Oh yes, I can.
everything, how beautiful
I can
everything
see everything. Hmm.
is. I've noticed that the colors have started to change
Yes,
already.
yes.
Did you get frost early then?
Well, we got. We didn't. Here we didn't get frost, but they did in the mountains.
I see.
I don't know whether it's the time of year and it's dry, or if it's the change, the frost.
Yes.
I don't know
That
for
may
sure.
be a combination of both, huh?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Well, Mother, I really do appreciate you taking time to let me ask you some questions.
Okay. Well, it's fun to answer them, but I don't have the command of words that I need to. No, I don't.
How do you feel about living alone like you've lived? I mean,
I haven't.
enjoyed it. Huh?
I haven't enjoyed it at all. But I've enjoyed it, I guess, to a certain point. And I don't think I ought to live here alone forever.
No, it'd be a lot better if you did have somebody close by you.
Reed is and Floyd's the only ones on this whole lane, and they're neither one able to help me, neither one.
But they're the ones that understand your plight.
Yeah, they're the ones. But they don't. They're not either one able to help me. Where's that airplane?
It's flying up towards Porterville. Up towards Porterville.
There was one right over here, right over our house.
Yeah. Do you, would you ever feel like coming and living with one of your...
No, I wouldn't until I get so that I can't live alone. I wouldn't.
Do you ever have any fear of maybe...
Someone coming? Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any thoughts about Dad? I mean, since
No,
he passed
I
away,
haven't.
I mean, you haven't had any
I haven't.
impressions or...
I haven't had any impressions, and I haven't dreamed about him or anything.
Yeah.
I've dreamed, but I haven't dreamed about him.
Yeah.
I guess.
I see.
I'll tell you what. I can't remember anything.
Of the dreams. Huh?
Well, I can't
I
remember.
think that's usual. I think that's normal. A lot of them just can't remember.
A lot of people can remember them, but if I should wake up in a dream, then I can remember it for a little while.
Of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that Eleanor and I could do to help you? Or?
I don't think so. Suzanne, when she was here, she and Kent took down the chandeliers and they washed them and got the bugs out. And I couldn't stand up on the
Chair to do that,
table to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I understand.
do it. Mm.
Well, you really have been a wonderful mother to me, Mother.
Well, I've tried to be.
To all of us.
I've tried to be a good mother to all of you.
You really have been.
I don't know whether I've.
We certainly are grateful.
Don't know whether I've done it or not.
Have you had any kind of premonitions about the future for you, or
No, I haven't.
none whatsoever? Huh?
No. No, I haven't. But I've given away books, and that is the books that belong to you.
Yeah.
And
All the other kids.
and the other kids, I've given them theirs, and those books that are left are the ones that Ford was given, and so when I die, why then you can put them in 7 piles and take one pile, each one of them.
Okay.
And
Is there anything else that you want to give some advice about in regard to your estate when you pass on?
well,
I'm sure you've thought about
the
it.
boys have got the range ground, and it's 200. Let's see, 600 and 1,204 acres. So,
What does that exactly mean? Does that mean you can drive cattle out there? Or?
yeah. You can send cattle out there. Or you can rent it. I've rented mine.
I see.
I hope that Dee'll pay me. He hasn't paid last year nor this year.
How much does he owe you?
Well, he owes me, I don't know whether it is, I don't know what it is. I'll have to look at his check to see what Ford paid for the rangeland he got off of Arthur Burt.
Did he buy Arthur Burt's rangeland?
I don't think so.
Oh.
And Dean, Kent Rich has got some too.
Where did you get this round table from and these chairs right there?
Well, I got two of those chairs from the church, and I got two of them from the Ford's cousin